Yeah, sounds all good. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Mendonça. I'm Memorial's University Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Before we start, I would like to recognize that we acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. Today, I'm here with Marie Curtis. Hi, Marie, Program Manager of Lab2Market Oceans. This program is very dear to me because I wish it existed while I was doing my PhD, so I could have a chance to look at my research a bit differently. And you'll see that it really changes the perspective of how you look at your research project. Before I give the floor to Marie, I also like to welcome Nurch Shakla with my tax, and also we have Randy on the line that is going to be one of our facilitators for this cohort. Marie will be giving a short introduction to the program. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. Feel free to write them on the chat or just come up to the presentation, to come up at the end of the presentation if you have any questions. Marie, with no further ado, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Paula. Yeah, this should only take about 10-15 minutes max, so we'll have lots of time for questions. As we mentioned, it is going to be recorded, just so you know. If there's any really personal questions that you don't feel comfortable sharing publicly, please feel free to email me. My email is there on the screen. And normal Zoom etiquette applies. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking, but I don't think we'll have that issue in this small group today, which is totally fine. All right, so we're going to talk about Lab2Market Oceans, but first of all, I just wanted to briefly talk, bit of a delay. I briefly want to talk about the Ocean Startup Project. So the Ocean Startup Project has the unique goal of making Canada, the best place in the world to start and grow ocean companies. Lab2Market Oceans is one of the components of the Ocean Startup Project, and that's a national initiative. This is a national initiative hosted by Memorial University. So we welcome university research teams from all across Canada, not just Atlantic Canada. So basically, if you're involved in ocean research, you can definitely apply to Lab2Market Oceans. So what is it exactly? So basically, our goal is to inspire graduate students to consider commercialization of their research. So this is a national program. Essentially, will teach ocean-based researchers at Canadian universities how to develop an entrepreneurial mindset, but will also provide the benefit of new marketable skills. So this program is virtual. As you can see today, we're on Zoom, so everything is delivered remotely. But it is a full-time, very intensive 7-week program. This program helps validate your research ideas and helps you find business or commercial value in your research. So that could be a startup creation, licensing, partnering with industry. So essentially doing this program will help you learn the applicability of your research beyond the lab and into the world of innovation, entrepreneurship, and commercialization. So you can explore the potential use of your research to solve massive industry challenges or industry needs. So why should you apply to Lab2Market Oceans? The biggest thing we want to emphasize here is that you can build transferable skills in this program. So communication skills, presentation skills, and business development skills. You'll learn about customers and help tailor your research ideas to meet customer needs. You could even potentially build a massive scalable company with your research idea. We want to give students the opportunity to network nationwide and build meaningful relationships with other researchers, your peers, leaders, experts, and mentors in the ocean industry. So to do this successfully, each team has a graduate student or postdoctoral fellow that will receive $15,000 in funding. And this funding is to support you while you're completing the 7-week full-time program. So we've had some really strong results in just 2 years of delivering this program. So we've done 2 cohorts. This will be our third cohort in 2022. So we've had 38 teams participate. 24 are still actively seeking commercialization, and we have 9 companies that have been started. So of course, that takes a lot of work. There were over 1,500 interviews done with customers. And of these 38 teams, there's they've received over $700,000 in funding. So we just hope to build on that success this year, which I think we can definitely do. So what is the potential impact of participating? I want to quickly highlight some of the successes of previous participants. So the first one I want to talk about is the Allos Bioscience team from the University of Lethbridge, who participated in our 2021 cohort, so last year. And their company designs and builds custom protein-based biosensors using molecular dynamics simulations. So Allos Bioscience was recently accepted into the renowned California Accelerator Braid Theory, which is a huge deal. I don't know, it's hard to imagine that scope, but that is a really big deal, especially since they only participated last year, so within 1 year. And note that the Allos Bioscience team really appreciated learning how to conduct effective interviews and ask the right questions. And they noted that these skills are highly transferable no matter what you go on to do. So our next participant that I want to talk about briefly is the X-Tech MIP team from Memorial University. They were one of the original 2020 Lab2Market Oceans participants. So their company offers analytical solutions to analyze samples to trace compounds of interest. So they offer extraction devices for field and in-lab sampling, interfaces for direct instrumental analysis, and training on methods development and validation for extraction analysis. So they actually have a patented technology, and after they completed Lab2Market Oceans, they went on to win an award called the 2021 Ocean Startup Challenge Idea category. So they won the idea category. So they noted that Lab2Market Oceans guided them on where to get started, what to do next, and they gained confidence along the way that their products actually had commercial viability. So another example I'll briefly talk about is the cold spray team from the University of Alberta. So they made international connections in Saudi Arabia and Australia, and they gained commitment from those connections to collaborate on projects in the future. So they're actually still in the commercialization process, but they've made international connections. So the last example I'll just briefly talk about is the Sea Cage Impact team, also from Memorial University. The student on this team actually received 2 job offers during his Lab2Market Oceans customer discovery process. So as you can see from our pictures of teams of 3, you're not alone in this process. So the team of 3 consists of an entrepreneurial lead, which is our grad student or postdoctoral fellow. You have your technical lead, who is usually a faculty member, and you'll have a mentor who is an industry expert. So the entrepreneurial lead will expect to spend about 35 hours per week for 7 weeks on the program. Technical leads will probably spend about 5 hours per week, It really depends on the technical lead, but we do know that when technical leads are more involved, the students have more success. If you don't have an industry mentor at the time of your application, we will match you with one, so it doesn't, losing my words here. If you don't have a mentor, it's not going to impact your eligibility to apply. All right, so as I mentioned that, Luke, the student in one of the teams, found a job during the customer discovery process, I want to just talk about that process itself. So customer discovery is the biggest component of the program. And the idea behind this is that you'll conduct 10 to 15 interviews per week. And you're going to get outside your comfort zone. You're going to talk to a bunch of people. You'll connect with customers. And then you use the feedback to guide your research plan. You're not going to go through this process alone. So we have 3 program facilitators, myself, and a teaching assistant who will help you through this entire process. So our 3 facilitators are Carol Bartlett, a geophysicist and sales expert, Randy Gillespie, who is on our call today, who has 30 years experience working with entrepreneurs in the ocean technology industry, and we have Leah Sanford, who has been in marketing for over 15 years. So great team here this year, and I think we're going to have a lot of success. So the quick overview of the program timeline. August 23rd to the 25th, we will have a brief introduction orientation session for a few days. Then there's a short break, and then the full program starts September 12th to October 26th. So it's not the full August 23rd to October 26th, just to make that clear. There will be about 20 to 25 teams from all across Canada participating. So you are probably sick of me talking now, so I'll stop. Our applications are now online. They are open until 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, just to give our friends in BC the full day on April 4th to apply. We have 3 other information sessions, so if you joined late or you want to share with your friends, I will post the link to our Eventbrite in the chat so you can share. And now we have some time if anybody has any questions. You can feel free to unmute yourself, or you can post them into the chat, whatever your preference would be.
Thanks, Marie. That was great. And Maria just posted, or Laurie just posted the dates for the next Eventbrite info sessions. Does anyone in the audience have any question regarding the program, schedule, what the program exactly entails, funding, etc.? And I do have a quick question to kick us off, just in case. So I really enjoy your presentation, and I know I'm familiar with this, but it is a question that comes up often. If one of the teams doesn't want to have a company at the end of the day or want to be an entrepreneur, can they still participate on the program? Or is this just if a researcher or a student or their supervisor are interested in doing a company at the end of the day?
So no, it's great if you do want to have a company, but it's definitely not a requirement. You might even become interested in becoming an entrepreneur by completing this program. But what we want everyone to take away from this is the transferable skills that you'll gain. So even if you don't end up becoming an entrepreneur, you're still going to have those great skills that you'll be able to take with you wherever you end up.
Thank you. So yeah, great program, regardless where you are on your process as a researcher. And any questions about my taxes? We have sometimes questions about you mentioned that the funding for the students goes through my tax. Does it mean that they have to apply separately to my tax afterwards? How does the process work for the funding?
Yeah. So you will have to apply separately through my tax, and we will guide you through this process. But you do need to be eligible for MyTax in order to participate in the program. So if you can't get your MyTax approval, you won't be able to participate. That is something to be aware of for sure.
Okay, so the way that it works is that they first apply through the website link, like the regular Lab2Market program link. If then they get approved to continue to the next stage, then we'll put them in contact with MyTax to then do the MyTax application, correct, with their BD?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then the funding goes, the 15,000 funding goes to the student.
Yes. Okay, I see that we had some late people join, which is totally fine. We do have this presentation recorded, so we'll send it the link to the recording after the session ends. But if you do have any questions about Lab2Market Oceans, like if you've reviewed our information package on the website and you do have questions, feel free to either post them in the chat, or you can unmute your microphone and you can ask your questions out loud.
I have a question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm an international student. So when I join this program, should I apply for any work permit or anything like that? No.
That is a good question. Yeah, Paula says no.
No, no, you don't have to apply. So this is actually, we have in the past, the 55%, I think, of our cohort has been international students. So you don't have to apply. So you're receiving a regular funding through MyTax, like if you were, not like you are a student, so you're eligible as long as you all your slots have not been filled, and Nurj can speak a little bit to it as well. You don't have to apply for any permit. This is not considered to be a job. It's just a program that you're participating.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
As long as you have student status, at the institution, then you won't need a work permit. If you graduate and still are on the MyTax funding, that at that point you would need a work permit, but not if you're still a student.
Yeah, okay. So 35-hour requirement is just the alignment between me and my supervisor that I dedicate my time for the Lab2Market program. So it's not recorded in any official document.
Yeah, so you're still considered a full-time student while you're participating in this program, but the reason you're getting the $15,000 funding is because you're participating in the program. So we do it's all about budgeting your own time, of course, but we do expect students to spend about 35 hours per week participating. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you have your own deadlines with your supervisor. So definitely want to discuss that with your supervisor.
Yep, thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions?
I'm just going to, on that line, we just noticed, again, this is our third cohort, and other universities also have other cohorts, and it's been very clear that the program is immersive enough that it will be very difficult for you to have time to do research outside of the program. However, it's 100% worth it. Like, the skills that you are going to get are not, like, you don't have something similar to this anywhere else, and it's going to be valuable for you wherever you continue. If you continue in academia, if you get a job in industry or another university, it's going to be extremely valuable. And I noticed that we have two other questions on the chat. One of them is if this program is restricted to full-time student, and if there's an age restriction for participants. Full-time student, that will be more of a MyTax question, but there's no, yeah.
Yeah, so no, MyTax can support part-time students as well. I mean, the only thing to keep in mind is if you're a part-time student, while you'll be paid the funding as a stipend, you will be taxed on it at the end of the year. For full-time students, they're not taxed on it. So just something to keep in mind when you're planning that piece, and no age restrictions on our end either.
Yeah, no age restrictions on our end either. Thank you.
That's good to know about the part-time and the taxes. Thanks, Nerd. All right, is there anything else? Any other questions or comments? If you don't have any further questions, I mean, feel free to log out. You don't need to stay for the full hour. And also feel free to email me if you have anything that you think of later.
And there's another question there about postdocs. Marie, do you want to take that on?
Yeah, so postdocs are eligible to apply. I believe you have to be a recent postdoc. It's either 3 or 5 years. Do you remember if it's your 5
years?
5 years?
5 years, yeah, within 5 years.
So basically, if you're a postdoc who has been a postdoc for more than 5 years, you're not eligible. All right, any other questions?
There's another question there on the chat about LMIA work permit. What is the LMIA work permit?
I think it's the labor market. It's a specific permit. I mean, you'd still need status as a postdoc to receive the funds. So with the start date of August 23rd, you need to maintain status for the duration of the MyTax award, which would be August 23rd plus 4 months from there. So you would still need that. I'm not sure how that impacts your work permit, but we need you to have that in place to actually receive the funds.
Thanks, Nerj.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on if that permit is getting extended or not. Yeah. Okay, keep the questions coming if you have more questions.
I mean, for as a my tax rep, I can't really advise on how you can extend your work permit. I would encourage you to speak to the international office at your university to see how that can be done, or the folks government. But I think it's a pretty standard process, but can't really advise on that.
No, yeah, we wouldn't have that information either. But and again, I don't know if you are from Memorial University, but we could put you in contact with the internationalization office if that was necessary from our end.
Yeah, so if you are a Memorial student, you can send me an email and I can get you in touch with the Immigration Advising Office. I will put
jump in with a question there.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Oh yeah, please give me. Okay, I'll put my email address in the chat for you.
It's also on the slide.
Yeah.
There.
In case you want to copy it.
Yeah. Easier.
Oh. I'll also put our Eventbrite link there again because we do have 3 other information sessions. So you feel free to share that, or you can attend all 3 if you want.
Perfect. So I just had a question, Marie.
Yeah.
So that was regarding the mentors. So on what basis, like, our teams assign the mentors?
So we have a list of mentors that we have connected with. So if a team does not have a mentor at the time of their application, we will try to get a mentor that's the best fit for their project.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, we're going to wrap it up at 2 p.m. Newfoundland time. So feel free to sign out now if you're donating more questions. If you do have more questions, please put them in the chat now, and we will be ending this at 2 p.m. And we will send out the recording to everybody who had registered if you joined late. All right. We're not seeing any more, so I will wrap it up now. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. We also appreciate all of our lovely staff coming as well.
Thanks, Marie. Thanks, everyone.
Stop share. Okay, stop.